Good day, everyone. Shalom, Kalimera, Dobry день. Today we speak about Cyprus within BEPS and CRS requirements. I will speak instead of our CEO, Chris Damiano, but he is in the conference room, so if you have any questions, you can ask him directly. So I have many information in this presentation, but I will speak very briefly. So if you can ask me or Chris after the presentation. So let's begin. Here is the general facts about Cyprus, well-known facts. We know that Cyprus is a member of the European Union since 2004. The corporate income tax rate is 12.5%. Cyprus is a whitelisted company, and Cyprus has signed 60 double tax treaties. Cyprus is the best gateway to Europe, especially for Israeli business, because we have a strong economic relationship between Cyprus and Europe. And Chris Damiano is a member of the board of the Cyprus-Israel Business Association. So our story about Cyprus will begin from the term national interest deduction. It was introduced not long time ago. Need can be claimed only by Cyprus tax residents and permanent establishments registered in Cyprus. The new capital must be introduced to Cyprus company after January 2015. This capital shall be paid. And what in fact this national interest deduction give to you? So all income which you receive because of the new capital, you can deduct, and you can deduct maximum 80% from your income. And here is the structure. So by the structure illustrates a practical example. So we see that company A with low or no tax rate, it transferring you equity to Cyprus company, and then Cyprus company uses equity to grant the loan to, let's say, Russian company. So then Russian company pays interest to Cyprus company. Those interest payments are deductible expenses at the level of Russian company. Then Cyprus company pays dividends to classical offshore company. 80% can be deducted, as I said. So instead of earlier used back-to-back loans, you can use the notional interest deduction. Also, Cyprus encourages investors to invest in Cyprus startups because according to the new initiative, which has not been yet approved by the parliament, but we are expecting that soon it will be approved, such investors will receive exemption of up to 50% of the taxable income from the startup. The next thing which Cyprus offers now, if you want to buy a property in Cyprus or you plan to sell your property in Cyprus, it's good time to do it now because disposal of movable property acquired between 2015 until the end of this year and disposal of principal residence, private residence up to the end of the next year will be exempt from the capital gain tax, which rate is 20%. So if you want to create a non-taxable income, you need to hurry up. The next incentive, I think most of you heard about the preferential IP box regime of Cyprus. So what it says, that if you acquired IP rights, IP assets, until the June 2016, you will continue benefiting from the Cyprus IP box regime, which provides maximum 80% exemption from the royalties income. So the the effective tax rate instead of the 12.55% will be only 2.5%. On this slide, you see the diagram with 4 companies which you need to meet in order to apply for this regime. So, according to the last changes, recent changes, now the trademarks, business names, and all other goods which promote services are not treated as qualifying assets. So those assets are excluded from the qualifying assets. But all the rest, like the patents or the computer software programs, you can use it and you can satisfy this, you can enjoy this IP box regime in Cyprus. And here's the practical structure. You see that Cyprus IP company grants a license, and licensee then pays royalties, and then Cyprus receives the royalties, it deducts 8% of the income, so the effective tax rate will be only 2.5%. And when the licensee pays royalties to Cyprus company, because of the wide range of double taxation treaties, the withholding tax will be 0 or just low tax rate. We continue to speak about the IP box regime in Cyprus. So you see earlier what we do. Company 1 paid royalties to Cyprus company, and then Cyprus company transited those royalties to the classic offshore company. Because of the beneficial ownership principle, we cannot do it now because beneficial ownership of Cyprus company will be challenged. So what we offer to company 1 pays royalties to Cyprus company, and then Cyprus company pays dividends to its mother company BVI or BLS. But on the level of Cyprus company, you remember that you will receive only 2.5% of the effective tax rate from the income received. Here is a scheme how you contribute your IP rights to your Cyprus company. And also another one practical example. You see that you can use it for your clients who are artists or singers. You see that those clients can assign its rights to offshore SPV, then offshore SPV grants license to Cyprus company, and then Cyprus company sub-licenses IP rights to club or to TV station. So by using offshore SPV and by using Cyprus company, you receive minimum tax burden, because on the level of offshore company you have no taxation, and on the level of Cyprus company you have effective tax rate 2.5%. Another thing, another issue when we speak about Cyprus is the Cyprus holding company. Why we offer to use it? Because when Cyprus company receives dividends from the subsidiaries, will be their low withholding tax at the level of, you see here, we have India, China, because of the wide range of double taxation treaty, and income in form of dividends received by Cyprus company will be 0 taxed, so no taxation at the level of Cyprus company. And no withholding tax when you pay dividends, when you transfer dividends from Cyprus company to international parent company. This is, on this slide, pretty the same idea as it was about the royalties. So what we used before, dividends were paid from one company to Cyprus and then transited to offshore company. Because of the beneficial ownership principle, we cannot do it anymore. So we offer now to delete this top company, offshore company, and use only Cyprus company. And here you, on the bottom, you can use your Israeli company as well. Another thing, as I said, Cyprus is a member of the European Union. It means that Cyprus implemented it in its national legislation all directives, including EU merger directives. So what it says that if you want to do the merger or division, and if you use EU companies and if you use Cyprus as well, all procedural formalities will be simplified and it will be tax-free according to the directive. So here is the list of the exemption which you receive, for example, to Cyprus companies, or exemption from any stamp duty obligations, exemption from the capital gain tax deriving from the reorganization. Here is the example how you merge two companies within the EU and you set up new company, Cyprus company, let's say. The next not incentive, but the next instrument which you can use is Cyprus investment firm. So you can license your investment activities in Cyprus. So one single license will permit you to work in Cyprus, and by passportizing your license in other countries of the EU, according to the MiFID directive, you can easily do your services in any other countries within the EU. So the procedure is not difficult, it's straightforward, and our company is aware about this procedure, and we practice it, and we can help you, advise you if you need the license. Here's a list of services which you can provide to your clients once you obtain the license. So you can do your portfolio management, you can do investment advice, execution of orders on behalf of the clients. Also, if you do forex business, you can use the same license which provided to Cyprus investment firms. The procedure is similar. So, by this license, you can do your forex business. And we know that many forex companies now suffer from banking issues, because nowadays it's not difficult to open account for those business. But once you obtain a license and you're thinking about opening accounts, you must be careful, and you can also come to us and we will advise you what can be the best solution for you. Another instrument provided by Cyprus, as well as by any other EU countries, it's the Alternative Investment Fund. But why Cyprus is interesting? Because Alternative Investment Fund will take the tax regime of Cyprus. So you will use all benefits provided by the tax regime of Cyprus. And dividends collected from your sub-funds will be tax-free. So here are the benefits. You see the flexibility, transparency, investment protection, and as I said, dividends are tax-free on the level of the Alternative Investment Fund. Also, another moment is you can set up your electronic money institution. You can receive license from the Central Bank of Cyprus. And actually, it's an efficient instrument for forex business as well. Payment institution has less scope of services than electronic money institution, but if you apply for license for payment institution, you have less requirement to your share capital, less than electronic money institution. Also, we offer in Cyprus to list shares or securities of your company on the Cyprus Stock Exchange. And Cyprus Stock Exchange has the alternative emerging companies market, which is unregulated market. Why it's interesting? Because its rules of this market are easier and not so strict as the rules of the Cyprus Stock Exchange, but still your shares or securities will be listed on the Cyprus Stock Exchange. So you can do this market. And we are actually, our company is NOMAD, so it means that we are approved consultant, nominated advisor, we are approved consultant, so we can guide you in this process, in the process of listing of your shares and securities on the emerging company market or the Cyprus Stock Exchange. So we will assist you with collecting and preparing of all documents and submitting them, etc. Also, Cyprus is well known because of its Cyprus International Trust it's a multifunctional instrument, and it can be used as well for CRS purposes, common reporting standard. So here's the scheme, it's one of the examples actually how you can use a trust. So you can manage your property abroad via trust. Also, Cyprus is well known as #1 shipping country. So you can benefit from the EU tonnage tax regime. Because why it's preferential? You will not pay the corporate income tax rate. You will not pay corporate income tax, and you will not pay the special defense tax. Instead of this, you pay only tonnage tax. So it's very preferential as well. Another example of how you can use your Cyprus company. You can manage, as I said, your property. Let's say we see that here in London, you can manage it through Cyprus. Another thing which we offer is to use Societas Europaea's European company, and we offer to register it in Cyprus. Because when you're thinking about the place of registration of your holding company in form of Societas Europaea, one of the most important criteria is to define which tax regime will be the most preferential for your needs. Because of the benefits which I already mentioned, Cyprus can be preferential. So you can set up your Societas Europaea in Cyprus, but even once you registered your company in Cyprus, you can easily transfer your registered office to any other country within the European Union. And the procedure of setting up this company will be not difficult because it will be registered in accordance with the European Company Charter. Then we have incentives to the individuals. So new benefits, it's a non-domiciled regime. If an individual is a tax resident in Cyprus, but he is not domiciled in Cyprus, and here's a scheme how you can define whether you are domiciled or not domiciled in Cyprus. Those persons will not pay their special defense tax from their rental income, dividends, and interest. And the main criteria how to identify whether you are domiciled or not domiciled in Cyprus, if you 17 of the last 20 years you have not lived in Cyprus, you will be treated as a non-domiciled in Cyprus. So in this case, you will not pay the special defense tax. We offer also to obtain the permanent residency in Cyprus. The main criteria is to purchase a Cyprus property, and you can be the main applicant, and you can also your spouse or your parents or your children can also take benefits of this regime and become the permanent resident in Cyprus. Logical next thing is the citizenship. So if you are thinking about transferring your tax residency, you can also apply for citizenship. And recently, the program in Cyprus, citizenship reinvestment, has been changed, and now the amount of the investment has been reduced. So now you need to invest only 2 million instead of 2.5 million euros. Once you receive the permanent residence or citizenship, also logically that you most probably want to continue staying in Cyprus and working in Cyprus. So Cyprus provides also benefits for expats who move to Cyprus and who wants to work there. So subject to some criteria, you receive 20% exemption from the annual remuneration, or even 50% exemption during 5 years or 10 years period from the personal income tax. So maximum 50% of your annual income will be exempt from the personal income tax. Our subject of the presentation was Cyprus within BEPS and CRS requirements. So we speak now about the BEPS. You see the actions on which Cyprus has already gave some reply, and it's obvious that Cyprus soon will implement all actions all the BEPS action plan, but in our view, we think that Cyprus will not have so great impact than other countries, because, for example, the action which tells about the country-by-country reporting. So we think that not too many companies in Cyprus will reach this minimum threshold of 750 million euros. Also, because Cyprus is a member of the European Union, Cyprus will have to implement the new EU anti-tax avoidance directive till the end of the 2018. So this directive speaks about the CFC rules that all member states of the European Union has to implement CFC rules, has to implement exit taxation, interest limitation rules, and hybrid mismatches. So we expect that in Cyprus we will see everything. And for example, if we speak about the exit taxation, what we will have? If you transfer your assets to another company within the EU or to any third country, you have to pay the exit tax on your gain. Also, another directive is the fourth anti-money laundering directive, and according to this directive, all member states have to implement until June 2017, have to implement in their national legislation public registers of the beneficial owners. In some countries, it will be public, so it will be accessible to everyone who wants to take the information. In some countries, it will be not so accessible. For example, in Cyprus, this initiative has not been implemented, but we think, and in 90% for certainty, we think that those registers will be not public. So those registers will be only open to the financial unions, pledged entities, and to people who show their legitimate interest, only for those persons. And according to the recent changes, but those changes has not come in force yet, but it's like the proposal. So the proposal is to shorten the deadline for the implementation of this directive. So now, instead of the June 2017, now it's proposed January 1st, 2017. And also to reduce the threshold for identifying ultimate beneficial owner. So instead of the 25% of the ownership, only 10% of the ownership. But according to we read the recent news that the French Constitutional Court, this news came, I think, on this week, maybe on Monday. French Constitutional Court issued the rule that those registers, public registers of the beneficial owner are unconstitutional. So we see that probably not all the countries will make those registers public. Next topic which we cover is exchange of information. So information can be exchanged upon request, spontaneous and automatically. And we speak today about the automatic exchange of information. It became possible because of the global standard on automatic exchange of information. You see the list of the countries which already committed to exchange of information, and you see that Cyprus is an early adopter, so it committed to exchange information with other countries who also committed to this list in 2017, and Israel is late adopter in 2018. Here is the road how information will be exchanged between countries. Also worth to note that controlling persons of the passive non-financial entities of the from the reportable jurisdictions will be, information about them will be disclosed. And the main criteria to be treated as passive, non-financial entity is that more than 50% of the income should derive from the passive activities. And here's the scope of reportable information. So you see that details of the account holder, account details, details of the financial institution, and account balance and gross amount of the incomes as of the end of the calendar year will be reported. Here's a practical example of Cyprus. As I said, Cyprus has committed to exchange information automatically, and Cyprus banks have already started gathering information. If you go by this link, you will see on the website of the Ministry of Finance of Cyprus, you will see the list of countries with which Cyprus intends to exchange information. And I think our last topic today is the substance and why it became important nowadays. So now more frequently investigation from the tax authorities appear, checking if the company or any other arrangement in Cyprus has a substance in place, so not only for the form, but the substance. So they check whether there's a company arrangement has a real economic purpose. And if they treat that those arrangements do not have real economic purpose, all taxes will be calculated based on the national legislation and not based on the double taxation treaties. And here's an example of the investigation letter sent by Cyprus tax authorities. They're mainly asking Cyprus companies, for example, if they have real office in Cyprus, if they have personnel in Cyprus, etc. If a person who answers on those questions, if those persons will not evidence that they have substance in Cyprus, they will not receive their tax residency certificate. You see the example of the investigation letters from Belgium and Italy. So it shows, it evidences two facts. One fact that the countries exchange information, and so those countries send the request to Cyprus tax authorities. And the second fact that those countries also checking if Cyprus legal entity has substance. So if Cyprus legal entity has legally applied for the benefits provided by the double taxation treaty. And here is the example of the questions asking in the investigation letter. So they ask to provide the list of the suppliers, the list of the clients, to specify where the company systematically forward emails, where the company has an office in Cyprus and personnel. And on this slide you see what the measures can be in order to enhance your substance in Cyprus. So we offer to have a real physical presence in Cyprus by renting the office at least, to have a person in Cyprus, to have a minimum one bank account managed by a Cyprus resident director in Cyprus Bank. Here's the illustration. We compared 3 jurisdictions from the EU, Cyprus, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. And you will see, if you summarize all the answers, you will see that Cyprus is more preferential, has more benefits than those 2 jurisdictions, and still Cyprus has less operational costs than those jurisdictions, even if we speak about the substance. Here's the list of the double taxation treaties signed by Cyprus. And what they had before and what they have now. So now Cyprus is only whitelisted country. The substance is important, still high quality of services, and still low operational expenses. And Cyprus is friendly jurisdiction to all investors who want to invest in Cyprus. And before we proceed with the questions, I want to tell you a few words about our company. Our company is a regional business advisor. We have over 200 people. Our offices in Southeast Europe and East Mediterranean. We have offices in 21 cities. Here's a list of our services. So we do the payroll services, we do HR administration, tax planning, financial services, accounting, legal services. So we position ourselves as a one-stop shop. So you can come to us and we will solve any issue which you have with your business. Here is a map. On the map you can see where we are located, and we have in each office we have local staff. Here is a list of our awards. So even in 2016 we ranked Tier 1 tax transaction practice in Cyprus. We are best Cyprus tax firm of the year, etc. And here are the list of our clients which we are proud of. I think this is it. Thank you very much.